Hey everybody, welcome back to Halifax Home Guide. So you're ready to dive into home ownership in Canada. Well, let me tell you, it is an exciting journey for sure. But let's be real, there's one major hurdle that's affecting first-time homebuyers today, and that of course is saving for a down payment. In this video, I'm going to break everything down for you and help you come up with a clear and actionable plan on how to save for that down payment, even with today's real estate prices. And as a special plug for Nova Scotians, be sure to stick around to the end of this video as I will be talking about ways that you can actually purchase a home if you don't have a down payment saved. So let's get right into it. So chances are, if you clicked on this video, you might be getting into home ownership within the next couple of years. And luckily, there's nothing more than I enjoy in my career than helping a first-time homebuyer get into their home. So if you're not sure how to begin, feel free to click the link in my description where you can book a no-obligation 30-minute phone call with me, where we will discuss the home buying process and ultimately help determine if we would be a good fit for each other. And if you're watching this video from outside of my market area, which is the city of Halifax and surrounding areas, I have connections from all across Canada and more than likely would be able to connect you with somebody who can help. So first, let's try to understand what exactly is a down payment and how important it is when you're purchasing a property. Well, the down payment is the lump sum of money required to purchase a home and is money that you pay upfront on closing day. The amount of down payment you need depends on the price of the home that you will be buying. In most cases, the minimum down payment required to purchase a home in Canada is 5% for the first $500,000 of your purchase, followed by 10% of any portion of the purchase price above $500,000 up to $1.5 million. And if you're really lucky and you're a first-time home buyer purchasing over $1.5 million, the minimum down payment is 20%. So for example, if you're looking at purchasing a home around $400,000, then the minimum down payment would be $25,000. Now also keep in mind, depending on which area or municipality you are in, you would also have closing costs that could vary. Here in Halifax Regional Municipality would be the 1.5% deed transfer tax. You would also have legal fees, some property tax adjustments, and some other things to cover as well. So what I always tell people is that I would plan on an additional 2 to 3% of the purchase price just to cover the closing costs. And this is above your down payment. Now let's move on to the first step of saving for a down payment, which would be to plan a clear and realistic goal. The biggest thing to remember is that saving for a down payment is a marathon, not a sprint. So you want to plan on putting small amounts of money in a pot that will then grow over time. Research the price of homes in the target area and pick a type of property that is more in line with your current budget. Once you have a target purchase price, simply calculate it by 5% and that will give you the amount that you will need to save. Also remember to factor in those closing costs that we talked about. The next thing you want to do is give yourself a timeline. Are you planning on purchasing a home in 3 years, 5 years? Knowing your timeline helps you figure out how much money you need to put away each and every month. The second step of this would be to create a budget, which is really a good thing to do in general. You need to write down what the total household income is, go through your bank statements and credit card statements. That means every coffee, every subscription, and so on. Now you can create a simple spreadsheet for this, but there's also some very easy apps that you can use in order to come up with your budget. And once everything is accounted for, hopefully you'll end up with a little bit of money left over, and that would be the amount that you would put aside to save for your down payment. Step number 3 would be to try to boost your income. Because let's face it, sometimes simply cutting our expenses just isn't enough, especially with today's high prices and high cost of living. Now, a couple of years ago, I actually did have a side hustle myself that I was fairly successful at, and that was driving for multiple delivery app services. I actually generated about $15,000 of extra income within that year. So definitely not insignificant. You could also be a driver for a rideshare service, dog walker, etc. Another way that you can boost your income is to simply sell items that you might have cluttered away that you don't use. And you would be surprised on how much this may add up to. Something else you can do, which I know may sound daunting, is just simply ask for a raise because you know that you're doing great at your job and you deserve to get paid more money. You could also explore for promotion and look for opportunities for advancement, which will then boost your income. Which leads us to step number 4, which is to automate your savings. At least have some type of system in place where you are consistently transferring money into the savings account on a regular basis. And now on to step 5, which is to look into first-time homebuyer programs. And this is a very important step for Canadians, as the government offers some fantastic programs to help first-time homebuyers. The first one I wanted to talk about is the Home Buyers Plan, or HBP. This program actually allows you to withdraw $60,000 if you are an individual, or $120,000 if you're a couple from your RSPs, in order to use it for a down payment on the purchase of your first home. Now, with this program, you do have to pay back that amount of money within 15 years, but it can be a great way to access a good chunk of change in order to put towards your down payment. The next program I want to talk about is the First Home Savings Account, or FHSA. This program allows first-time homebuyers to save up to $40,000 at a limit of $8,000 per year. The contributions that you make to this account are tax deductible, meaning that you don't pay tax on the amount of money that you put in, and also tax-free when you take the money out to use for the purchase of a home. So kind of like an RSP TFSA hybrid. If you don't have one of these accounts, I would certainly recommend it. And the last thing I want to touch on here is the home buyer's amount, which first-time home buyers can claim on their income tax up to $10,000, resulting in a tax credit of $1,500. And on to the 6th and final step, which is to avoid the lifestyle creep and high interest debt. So more than likely, as your income starts to increase or you start to save more money, you might feel the urge to increase your spending as well. Now, just remember that every time you say yes today, you are saying no to your future. Okay, that might have come off a little bit harsh. I mean, of course, you can go to a restaurant every now and then or treat yourself to some new clothes, but everything in moderation. And just be mindful that you're not using high interest credit cards to pay for this stuff. Carrying large balances can significantly inhibit your ability to save. So focus on paying off these high debts as soon as you can, because that's only going to free up more of your income to put towards your savings. And as promised at the beginning of this video, if you are in Nova Scotia, there's actually a program that could allow you to purchase a property if you do not have a down payment saved, or at least not the full 5%. And that is the Down Payment Assistance Program, which is offered by the Nova Scotia government. Under this program, you can get a loan of 5% of the purchase price that is interest-free as long as you pay it back within 10 years. I was actually surprised that not very many people are actually aware of this program, which is why I'm bringing attention to it today. I've personally had 2 first-time homebuyers recently that actually took advantage of this program when they otherwise would have had to wait probably a couple of years before they were able to purchase that home. I will include another link in the description so you can read it in detail and see if you qualify. So there you have it, a guide on how to save for a down payment in Canada. It takes time, it takes effort and discipline, but in the end, owning your own home is very rewarding. I can promise you that. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.